Hey world, it's your host Marshall. Thanks for tuning into my podcast, Run On Thoughts. Here we talk about everything and nothing because we are not afraid to be all of ourselves even as we evolve. And that's my thought for my fellow thought thinkers as we unpack our traumas, past hurts, and other BS. Y'all ready? Let's go. Hey thought thinkers, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Run On Thoughts. I am happy to be here and I stand in a place of gratitude for anyone listening for the very first time and anyone who has been on this journey with me since the very beginning. Thank you. I hope that you guys have been out in the world living a life. Living a life is hard, but it can have joy. But joy is something that I keep telling you guys, you have to create. You have to create joy. You have to stand in a place of gratitude for what you have. This week, I want to continue on what I started last week, which was doing the best with what you got. And I want to expand on that theme of resilience, of faith, and creative problem solving in these hard times. I know that there are many people struggling financially, but there are also people struggling emotionally, physically, spiritually. There is a lot going on right now. And sometimes we have to sit with ourselves in order to hear ourselves, in order to hear the answer. So in this week, I just want to talk about make it do what it do. I'm keeping it real simple, guys. Make it do what it do. I know that some of us feel life's limitations, and I have been there before. But it's not about what you don't have. It's about what you do with what you have. That's where the gratitude comes in, guys. I am only able to think of solutions when I have clarity and when I am in a state of survival and in a state of fear. I cannot think. And so when things are hard, I have to immediately shift my focus so that I can have clarity. I have to shift my focus to gratitude in order to have clarity, in order to allow my brain and my soul and my heart space to see the multitude of possibilities. I want to explore turning setbacks into setups, limitations into a launch pad, and ordinary moments. Because right now, many of us are existing in ordinary moments. And I'm telling you guys that sometimes you're going to have to believe in a miracle. You're going to have to believe in a miracle. And a miracle, guys, can come from anywhere. But you got to align your thoughts with the possibility of yes. Right? It's not about blind faith. It's about faith in works. It's about creativity and being resourceful and how to keep believing that a way will come even when the road isn't clear. I know sometimes you just tired of trying. Tired of moving, tired of trying to figure it out when it seems like it's so easy for other people. I don't have any answer for that. I really don't. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't know who deserves and who doesn't. I don't know why. It's just like I feel like I'm in an unpacking of everything. And even in that unpacking of everything for me, it feels like everything we've ever been told is a mother effing lie. And so in the rebuilding, I am going to admit when I just don't know. I'm hoping and staying open for new answers and for new possibilities. But right now, excuse me, I do believe that we have to believe that there is a way. because I do believe in energy and I do believe in the power of words, which is one of the reasons why I love words. There is power in words. You have to shift how you talk to yourself. You have to shift how you talk to the world. You have to shift how you talk to the universe because it hears you. These laws are not about these laws of attraction, these laws of energy, because we are energy. That is a fact. We are energy, which means that we connect to something, to each other, to the village, to the world, to the earth and beyond. And in order for it to hear you, you got to believe. You have to believe. You have to change your thoughts. I just simply want to keep it real about life with you guys, about life, about growth, and about doing the work to become our best selves. Everything we do here is about unpacking and about being our best selves. And sometimes our best with very little is enough. Like I said last week, doing the best with what you've got. With what you've got is the operative statement there. With what you've got. And I know many of us don't feel like we have much. And that's why it is more important than ever to pull together, to share our resources, to help your neighbor, to give your overflow, to be grateful. Those in need, it is important to let it be known that you are in need. Stop being humble. Sometimes the miracle can't come to you because an angel has come and asked you, are you in need? And you have said no. It is asked you, are you that person? And you have said no. And it doesn't recognize you. It must keep moving. You have to open yourself up, open your door, open your mind, open your life up to receiving. Some people don't even know how to receive. They're so prideful and they think those of us that ask for abundance are greedy. We're not greedy. Well, I'm not greedy because I believe in giving overflow. I believe in sharing, but I do believe in asking. It's okay to ask for what you want. Ask. Stop waiting. Stop sitting in the dark thinking that it's just going to come just because. You still have to ask. I want to talk about how to work miracles with what in your hands. How to trust the process. And how to be still when the odds don't seem to line up. Because sometimes all the time, it's not about waiting for the perfect condition. It's about believing that what you already have can carry you to where you need to go. I want to keep reiterating that. And I don't share this from a place on the top of the mountain. I share this from being at the bottom. I'm from the bottom. And I say that with pride. Because the truth simply is. The truth just is. A liar has to remember. But the truth is. I don't have to create some altered past because I'm ashamed of it. I am not ashamed of it. And in not being ashamed of my past, I am always living in the privilege that I know how to make a way out of no way. Because remember, guys, being from the bottom is filled with some scary lessons. But I got those lessons. And when I got those lessons, I turned those lessons into blessings immediately, because when you know how to make something out of nothing, you will always be carrying that as privilege if you stop trying to lie. I know how to shop at stores that are cheaper. I know how to get things for cheaper. I know how to re-thrift. I know how to make a meal with very little. These are skills that come from not having. And this is what I mean by when I tell you guys, don't be ashamed from where you come from. Use it to know something, and you can even use it to unknow something. If you were raised poorly and you don't know how to raise your children, do the opposite. Do the opposite. You know better because you know how you felt. You don't have to become the worst of things. You don't have to become the worst of people. You can make it do what it do with what you've got. You can see a different future even if you simply just know how to see the opposite. Of course, you guys know that I've had some personal moments where I've had to improvise and push forward with limitations. I remember when I got my second apartment. When I first got it, I thought I was going to be sharing it with someone, and my son and I were going to be taking the living room as a bedroom because it had a door and it had 2 closets. But miraculously, the other person never came. And my second apartment was now the same rent as my first basement apartment. It was $500. And I was happy. It was old, but I was happy. I had to put rugs on the wall to cover up the holes in the wall. Yeah. I had to put down contact paper. I had to put down a rug between the door of my son's room because the carpet was peeled up. And at that time, I really didn't know how to fix things, but I knew how to cover things. And so I was going to cover myself and my son with my limited skills. And that's what happens when you start where you are. You can grow, right? Your skills can grow. You mature in those skills. And that's what happened for me. I matured in my skills because once you go one step, you will go another step, and you will know another step, and you will keep building. And that is what I did. I kept building on my skills. And I didn't have no bedroom in this living room. I gave my son the bedroom. And I used the furniture that my aunt had bought me from a store that no longer exists called Siemens. And I made the best with what I had. I gave him half of the drawers and me half of the drawers, and I gave him the entire closet in the room. And I did my best with what I had by buying some sheets that I got off of the Ave, maybe some dinosaur sheets or Barney sheets or whatever the best I could. I didn't give myself a bed at all, but I started working and I was waiting on my tax return because that was another thing that I did back then when I used to get a tax return. Every year, guys, when I got my tax return, I would file my taxes in January. I would usually get the money by February, and I would plan this money for the entire year. That's right. I never took the money and balled out right then and there and then was going to have nothing for the future. I am always worried about the future, and I'm sure that comes from a place of trauma. I'm sure that comes from my food trauma. I'm sure that comes from being moved around a lot. I am sure that comes from not having. But it is what it is, and I use it as a powerful tool now to always think about what I am going to need and try to prepare. I can't prepare perfectly, but I can set aside things. So when I got this money in February, The first thing that I would do is take a little bit of the money. When I say a little bit, I mean like maybe $100 and do something nice for my son. I would do a big grocery shopping of cans and rice and any bags of meat and season them up and put them in the freezer. Then I would put aside money for my son's birthday, which was in June. I would put aside money for camp for the summertime. I would put aside money for back to school shopping. I would put aside money for Christmas. I did this every year, all the years that I got an income tax return. And I also put aside a little money for my home, well, especially the first couple of years. And that first couple of years that I got a big check, I went to this furniture store. It was a cheap furniture store. And I spent $1,000. I bought not a sofa and a love seat. I bought a love seat and like some double kind of love seat, right? And a chair. I bought a futon bed because I didn't want to buy a bed. I didn't want to sleep out on the couch. I didn't want to pull out bed. So because this living room was big enough, I decorated it like a living room and the futon as a third piece of furniture, which was my bed. I bought my son bunk beds because my sister was going to be coming to stay over on the weekends. This is my sister Jennifer. And I did the best I could with what I had. I made a way. My kitchen table was a lawn table that my aunt gave me. And instead of leaving it to look like a lawn table, I put a tablecloth over it, a long tablecloth that went to the floor so that you couldn't see that it was a lawn table. You got to do what you got with what you've got. You got to make it do, and you got to be okay with that. And when I moved again, because I started making more money, but let me make this straight. I was making $1,600 a month, and I moved to a place that was $1,285 a month. I had to get a second job at the bookstore. And I had to have a conversation with his father that now the money needed to be steady. And I'm going to tell you guys, he honored that. And I will always have the greatest respect for the father that my son had and has. I only said had because I meant little boy. But he was there for us. My village was there for us. But I told everybody what I needed. I couldn't move. My good friend Tanya, we moved sofas and tables and beds. And then others showed up. My son's father's family showed up for us. And they moved us. And finally, I had my first bedroom. My son is by 11 years old. And I'm getting my first bedroom. I was able to get a 2-bedroom apartment. I was so happy. Let me tell you something, guys, about success and what success is. In that moment, I felt successful. And the reason I felt successful was not because I was rich, but because I was from the bottom. And I am judging my success by my story. I am judging success by my journey. You have to judge your success, guys, by your story, by your journey. Only you know how far you've come. Only you know what you've been through. You get to decide if in this moment you are successful. But when I opened my mind to the possibility that I was successful because I had my own bedroom. Now get this. My mattress was on the floor. I didn't have no bed frame. I didn't have no headboard. I went and bought some giant pillows and put those on the back and made a headboard. And then I was finally able to get a a bed frame from Walmart, and I bought these trunks to go on the side of my bed to put my things in. I made it do what it do with what I had. And I was proud. I needed more storage, and that's where the idea came for me to put a curtain across the whole back of the wall where my bed was so that I could push my bed forward so that I can store things behind my bed and that you couldn't see it. You got to make it do what it do sometimes. You got to use what you've got. Like right now, even though my home is large, I still want to get a new bed frame because I want to raise the bed so that I can have more storage underneath the bed. If that is what you have to do, do it. Go to the thrift stores. Go to rich neighborhoods and see if there are things outside that you can pick up. Those who don't need, like, I want a new bed frame, so I am simply going to give this one away. And I'm not giving it away because I want to, right? I don't need the money is why I'm giving it away. That is my way of giving back. If I needed the money to get a new bed frame, I would sell it. But because I do not need the money, now need is relative, right? Because I could put the money in the bank. But right now, we are in crises. Right now, people are in need. So it is important to share. I live in Jamaica, Queens. I was on Jamaica Avenue, and there's a store close to Gaillard Brewer that is selling coats for $10. I do not buy fruit and vegetables out of the supermarket. I buy fruit and vegetables off the street from fruit stands. And many of you need to start doing that. I was in the supermarket and I saw a mother effing pepper for $5.99. Meanwhile, I am getting peppers off the street $3-4. Okay, that was last year. So even the fruit stands prices has gone up. But guess what? The pepper is still $1. $1. You can get strawberries for $2. $10, I get all of the fruits and vegetables that I need for Thanksgiving. I saw a bunch of people with their little wagons, and I was like, excuse me, because I wanted to see what was over there and could I use it. And I whip out my shopping cart, and I get out there and I get what I need. I have had coats and people have gone, where'd you get that coat from? And I've gone Jamaica Avenue, and they go, I'm not shopping on Jamaica Avenue. And I go, okay. I'm from the bottom. I know how to go back to the bottom to get what I need so I can look like I'm moving on up. Who gives a fuck where it came from? I look nice. My home is nice. I have decorations from the Dollar Tree, Family Dollar, Big Lot, Walmart, and then grateful that I have extra resources. I can go to Michael's or Williams and Sonoma or Pier 1 or wherever, or Bloomingdale's, but I don't got no motherfucking problem getting ornaments out the Dollar Tree. And if you do, you stupid. I said it, stupid. I use those as fillers, and sometimes they're more beautiful, and sometimes they're the same motherfucking shit. When you shop at big box stores or luxury stores or whatever, sometimes you realize that's the same motherfucking flower that I saw in the Dollar Tree, except that this store put it in a pretty box. Stop being ashamed. Acknowledge what's real and stop dwelling on it. It's okay to admit that things are hard, but don't unpack there and live there. Right? Things are hard. Depend on us. Depend on your neighbors. We have to depend on each other. I'm taking lunch because sometimes when I cook, I have leftovers and I am guilty of wasting food. And I got some motherfucking nerve as somebody who has come from food trauma. But in my food trauma, it has made me be a little gluttonous with food. I do not count the cost when I am buying food, because that feeling of hunger and not having and not knowing where your next meal is going to come from, I never wanted anybody to feel that. And my son will tell you, when he was little, I would not only grocery shop from my home. If he called me and said, Mommy, get this, get this, get this, and it was for his friends or his cousins, I bought it. He could take anything out of my house, and Lord knows he did. He would pack up his book bag full of juice and meat to go to friends' home. And he never made anybody feel any way, because he knows where I come from, because he knows the truth, and he knows that I would be okay with that. Take it. I never want people to be hungry. That's why right now with this SNAP thing, if I tell you how I really feel about anyone who thinks that babies shouldn't eat, I almost hate you. I hate you. You think you're morally right because you are okay with babies not eating just so that you can feel like you're better than somebody? Because let me tell you something. If you think you're better than somebody, then you have to live in a state of feeling like others are better than you. And I ain't better than nobody, but nobody sure ain't better than me. We barter what we have. We bring our best to the table, and that is what makes community. Bringing what you have, that is how you reap from what you sow. You sow seeds of gratitude. You sow seeds of helping thy neighbor. All the people struggling because they were willing to let others struggle. You will be judged how you judge. Stop being so goddamn selfish simply because you want to be better than somebody. There is enough to go around, but they keep telling you that there's scarcity so that the greedy can keep it all, even from your ass. Make that make sense. Stop saying, why me? I never asked why me. It is what the fuck it is. And if it's already happened, what good is the question? You're in the shit. Now we need to think of a solution. Now is the time to think of a solution. We can't think about the why, not right now. What can I do with this? Look in your cabinets. What can I do with this? You need to be getting some bags of rice and canned vegetables. They're 50 cents at the Aldi. And I will be giving away 2 gift cards of $50 so that people can shop for Thanksgiving or for whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck what you buy. I don't care if you buy cookies. I don't care if you buy juice. I don't care what you buy. Because I know that when you have food trauma, sometimes you don't get to have the simple things that the rest of us take it for granted. Buy what the fuck you want to buy, because when I give the offering, right, although I am helping, I release it. I release my offering. I will give the card with good intention. What the other person does with it is none of my business. I have done my deed, and I will continue to do my deed. Because I understand the importance of village, of community, of sowing, so you can reap from your harvest. We have to learn to stick together. What are the lessons that come from what can I do with this? What lesson is hitting here? Curiosity, guys. Curiosity opens the door to solutions that pessimism closes. You can't see when you are afraid. You can't see when you are in struggle mode. You can't see when you are in fight or flight. Stand still so that you can get the answers, and so that you can bring the energy of positivity and the energy of your village, so that your quest, so that your answers, so that you can get the help that you and your family need. And surround yourself. If I don't say this, if I don't say this. Surround yourself with possibility thinkers. I know that I am a possibility thinker. I believe that anything is possible and ain't nothing that you people can tell me. Now, see, with believing that anything is possible, I also believe that I have to do the possible work. I can't stand still and just believe. I have to know. I have to understand. I have to connect to the source. I have to do some work. I have to put out good ideas. I have to put out good seeds. I have to sow in order to reap. I have to share. I have to network. I have to ask. I have to give. I have to clear my energy to receive. Energy is contagious. Keeping company with people who look for ways forward and not excuses to stay stuck is important. I see some friend groups and they are negative. I don't play that shit. We love each other here. What that means is that we don't always agree, but we will always talk through it to get to the other side. None of us is perfect. Some of the things that you love about a person will also be the things that get on your motherfucking nerves. But you got choices. You get the choice to stay or go, accept or not. And if you stay and accept, then you love and respect. And you use the gifts of each other. You use the gifts. We each have a gift. Somebody's gift could simply be laughter. And in these times, you need that motherfucking gift. Somebody's gifts can be a way maker. You need that. Somebody's gift can be financial. You need that. Somebody's gifts can be prayer that gets answered. Not just prayer, but people's prayers who get answered. I don't want nobody praying for me whose life is a mess, because clearly prayer don't work for you. Connect to possibility thinkers. It's possible. Anybody who tells you that you can't fulfill your dream, it is because they are pessimistic, because the dream they had was deferred. And that is none of your business. I have had many dreams deferred or shifted, but I stay in a place of gratitude, and I understand that I can have a new dream and a new gift. So I open myself up to the possibilities. At the end of the day, thought thinkers, making it do what it do is about follow through, believing in yourself and follow through. It's about trusting that the seeds you're planting, even the small ones, will bloom in their season. And I know right now that season is now. Call out to your neighbors. Call out to your village. Do not give up. Do not give in. And don't let doubt, do not let doubt dim your creativity. You are not waiting. You are not just waiting on a miracle. You are the miracle. I'm tired of talking to you. Bye.